What's up guys, and welcome to the ILB TV Vlogs channel. This is actually the first vlog we've actually posted on this channel since we started it a few months ago when we made the decision to move all our vlogs from our main YouTube channel to this channel. So today we're going to kick off the vlogs basically with a video that I've been meaning to make for the past 6 months or so. That video has been kind of delayed because of the studio space. We're trying to get it finished. But it's now in a good state where we can basically kick off the channel again, start making regular content for you guys. And I didn't think there was any better video to start the channel than with a full walkthrough from start to finish on the ILB E28.
Thanks, man. This angle of the car there, please, as well.
If you have been following the main channel for the past few years, you'll have seen the E28 basically pop up in loads of videos. Might be a crew car episode, might be us taking it to a show, or the first time we actually got the car and took it to Dub Shed. Basically lots of stuff has happened to the car, good and bad, and I just wanted to put that all into one video. So kicking off, if you don't know anything about the E28, as it sits today, this is the E28. Obviously, jumping right in at the start, it's a 1986 BMW E28, which is a 5 Series. So I got the car back in December 2016. I was on the hunt for BMW E28, a black one, at least a 2.5 litre petrol, and it had to be manual because I wasn't planning on doing an engine swap. I would have liked a faster one, but that's all my budget really could afford. I couldn't find a black one. I only could find a red one actually at the time, and also, I had never actually bought a classic car before, so I had my friend Pete, who you'll know from previous vlogs, go over to Bristol where I got it and pick it up for me because, you know, I was like, right, he knows the thing about cars. I'll give him the money, send him over to England, and he'll have a look over the car and he won't buy it if it's not good enough. In hindsight, that's a terrible plan. You give somebody the money to go buy an old classic BM, they're obviously going to go buy it and drive it home. They're not going to ring me up and go, nah, it's not good enough, Adam, you have to buy me a flight home. So should have really went and got it myself, but anyway. But at the same time, Pete did me a cracker deal, and we did a backhand deal in the nightclub one night, and he agreed to paint the car for a really cheap price. So the kind of deal was done. The red one was perfect because we could just paint it black. It probably would have needed painted anyway because it wasn't in the best of condition paint wise. In fact, one of the doors was a little bit off colored anyway. I think it had been replaced. So for you guys that are wondering, it's an M30 B25 engine, 2.5 litre. That puts out about 150 brake horsepower. Probably doesn't put that out anymore. And about 200 Newton meters worth of torque. Definitely probably isn't doing that now. Even though it's been well looked after, old car, probably not put out the same specs it was whenever it was new. But it actually is pretty quick, you know, for an old classic car. I remember when we drove it down to Players Classic one year, you know, around all the back roads, heading into Chichester, it was absolutely flying. It was like losing all the people behind me in the corners. So it's definitely not slow. The first thing I did when I got the car was a Nardo steering wheel. I've actually wanted a Nardo steering wheel for ages. It's one of those things that you always see in photos, you're like, that's actually a beautiful steering wheel. I'd love to have a car to put that in. So as soon as I got the classic BM, bought the Nardo steering wheel off Driftworks, and it's been in there ever since. Haven't changed it. So yeah, like December 2016 is when I got the car. At that point, it was kind of a rush to April the next year because that's when Dub Shed, the biggest car show in Northern Ireland, kicks off, and I wanted to get the car ready for that. So first modifications for the car was, as I said, the steering wheel, and then after that it went straight to Pete's for its paint job.
This is drift whip.
We need to book you in the book here. It's a new system we got. We found it in a car in Belfast.
It's just twice the jokes have been made about me being robbed.
So we picked a jet black original period correct BMW color, and it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely adore the color. At the same time that it was in Pete's, like all these little window chrome strips were replaced. The door rubbers were replaced, chrome surrounds were replaced. We did lose these, and I haven't replaced them ever since because it's a bit of a hassle to get the them back in. But yeah, all the little bits of chrome around the windows were all replaced when it was getting painted, and it kind of, I think the chrome really sets it off. So at the same time it was there, we also did the badges, a lot of the little corners in the chrome bumpers, and I went straight for BBS RS's, not as they're sitting right now.
So strong. This is the cleanest these are ever gonna look, by the way.
It is the same wheel, but whenever we originally did the wheels, I actually found a set in Poland that had recently been rebuilt. A 16 to stepped up to a 17, but the dishes weren't that wide, so we didn't have space for a big dish, so a small offset kind of worked really well. And it was static. The car at the very start was lowered on CA tuned coilovers from Igor and the guys out in California.
Oh damn.
Quality animal. Over tie rod, tie ends on there as well.
Absolutely amazing coilovers, really highly recommended for these classic cars. Absolutely adored how it drove on the coilovers, and I was actually a little bit concerned when I eventually got airlift if it would drive as well as it did on the coilovers, because the coilovers actually made the car at the time. It really made me love driving it. But yeah, so it was static. It was so low that whenever actually we drove it out of Peach Yard, it got beached.
Very close in there, James.
There might be some issues on the way to Dove Shed.
Scrub slightly.
Oh dear, this is not gonna be nice.
And we kind of scraped it over and pulled it up along the side of the road and had to jack it up there and then because it was just ridiculously low. It was never going to make it.
I like that wee light in there.
So we jacked it up the side of the road, got it to Dove Shed, and it was fantastic. But when we left Dove Shed, we decided we'd go to Nando's, and on the way to Nando's, we were driving. It was just around the corner from Nando's, and I hit like a pothole, or I hit like a raised grating or something, and smashed the sump.
This is
What's happened?
Seems the car's bleeding.
I have a rigid bar at the house. We're not
Stance.
get it.
Yeah, stance, man.
Thank you, like that.
What am I gonna do? I don't know.
Bumper! Whoa! Bumper!
I got a bit of speed, boys. Fuck me. Walking backwards.
So it made it to one show. It made it for about 3 days with the coilovers on, and it was straight back to Pete's. We had to tow it that night, bring it back to Pete's, and we had to raise the engine, change the sump, and do a few other bits to the engine. Like we actually cut the fan. We didn't change the fan, we cut the fan so when the engine was raised, it wouldn't hit the bonnet. Don't know how you feel about that, but that's what we did, and it's been like that ever since, and it's 100%. So after we raised the engine of the car, I just kept it like that for the rest of the summer basically, because that year we had our own car show districts, so the car went there with the same look that we had at Dove Shed. And then in August, just after districts, it was time for the next big upgrade, and that was its interior. So the interior in the car is done by Optimus Trimmers by Dell in Glasgow. I actually had to take it out of Northern Ireland because it didn't really know anybody local that could do what I wanted, which is a full Harris Tweed interior. This is the color that my car's going. This is Harris Tweed. This is pretty hard to get this stuff actually. It's woven per order, is it? Woven per order pretty much, yeah. Hand woven in Scotland as well, which is quite fit. I really wanted the Recaros as well, but it was struggling to find a decent set that were quite cheap. And Dell actually had a set in Glasgow that he said that he would do me a good deal on. Now, when you look at these Recaros, you'd be like, holy shit, what the hell's wrong with them? There's no chance that they're gonna come up really well. They look a bit rough around the edges, but whenever he got his hands on them, completely made them brand new again. completely retrimmed them. Yeah, just the covers. And then this kind of square pattern over both front seats and also onto the back seats as well. And I actually supplied Dell with these little labels off our clothing so we could sew them into the seats, which is a super nice touch. And yeah, highly recommend him for any interior work that you're getting done to your car. When some people actually look at the interior, they always ask me what these are out of. I hunted back and found out they're just out of a Ford Escort, Mark 1 or Mark 2, I'm not entirely sure. And then of course the cushions. So the cushion's something I've seen in a car at Players Classic and had to have it. Just thought it was awesome. Like what kind of luxury car doesn't have cushions, you know? So that year I took the car to Dubshed again, and I think then that was the year we took it down to Players Classic. So we drove the 500-mile round trip down to Goodwood, and that was amazing. It was so nice to actually have a car that you could take that it's really reliable as well. Like, you know, I've never actually had an issue with the car with running it. I think the only time I've ever had an issue, funny enough, was on that trip, and it overheated, and that was it. And it overheated because it was the warmest day of the year, and we decided to drive back through London, and we're sitting in London traffic. Car overheated whenever we actually left London and we were on the motorway, but 10-minute cool down and it was 100%. So in 2019, after having the car at its current look for about 2 years, I decided that it was time to change it up a little bit. Every time I took it to a show, it annoyed me a little bit, because obviously the cars that we kind of feature and stuff are all about stance and like really low, really amazing fitment, and had really flush fitment. And E28 wasn't really that, to be fair. It was low, it was on nice wheels, nice color, but it didn't have amazing fitment, and it was something I always wanted. And really the only way to do that was to get airbags. You could kind of do it if you were staying static, but you're going to wreck your arches and you're going to end up it's just going to piss you off all the time. And I still wanted to drive the car, so I made the decision to get 3H from Airlift, from Corey and Jamie. And yeah, to be honest, I think it absolutely changed the entire car from what it was to what it is today. At the same time, I knew that there was only one person local that I would trust to kind of fit the airbags in the way that I want them to fit. And that's because the man is a complete genius, and he's been on the vlogs before, and that's John Peden. If you don't know who John Peden is basically Northern Ireland's Wizard of Air. That's what I call him. That's the first time I've ever called him that. Now, the big thing about this car and about E28s is that the back of them is quite high. They sit a bit nose down, and most people put the M Sport bumpers on the car, which is like the big splitter and the big side skirts, and it doesn't really have anything at the back. And for me, it always looks a little bit odd. It looks a little bit gappy around the corners. You can see there's lots of space below the car, so I actually prefer the kind of car look without that. And that was a big thing that I really wanted to maintain in the car whenever I put airbags in it. I wanted all the wheels to be perfect fitment all the way around, but at the same time kind of laying on the ground. And there wasn't really any option to do that without putting the M Sport kit on, until I spoke to John Peden, and we kind of come up with a genius solution, which would involve cutting up the back arches of the car. We did a full video about this if you want to see it in more detail, but long story short, John decided that we'd buy front quarter panels off an E30 because the shape of its arch is quite similar to the E28 rear arches.
Put an arch off a different car on, like an E30 arch. It's not going to be, see the way it's flat?
Yeah.
The only way that you could...
So it's going to be circular?
No, not circular, but more circular, you know. It would end up like being, you know,
yeah,
higher. You know, this bit here would have to be shorter, like to there.
He had welded on the new arches from the E30 about 5 centimeters higher. So what that was doing was allowing us to basically drop the car 5 centimeters or thereabout, while maintaining the look of the car, and he done an absolutely incredible job. Definitely looks better in person in photos as well, doesn't it? And that doesn't help you took your photo from like, I think a good 20 meters away to keep me teased. Looks very, very good, very good. I can see now why you didn't want to let it go, John.
I like to get to know ya so I can show ya. Put a hurtin' on ya like I told ya. Give me all your numbers so I can phone ya. Your girl acting stink, then call me over.
Yeah, I think one of the best moments was whenever I have a friend who's massively into E28s, Andy, and he had a look at the car after it was done, and I said, do you notice anything weird about it? And he basically was like looking at it for a while, and he's like, no, I hadn't a clue, because it literally looks like it's meant to be like that. So that was kind of the idea, and the car now sits perfectly flush all the way around. When lowering the car, we actually needed another, I think, 1 centimeter at the front, and John, genius, sent me some photos of the bottom arms that he decided to shave off. So whenever it was aired out, they would go flat, and he shaved a little flat bit out of it and replaced the centers with metal, I don't know what the name is, metal centers instead of rubber ones basically, so it wouldn't lose any kind of strength. And that gives us an extra centimeter when the car's laid flat on the ground, and that kind of gives it the final look. At the same time, we decided to change up the wheels as well. I still love the BBS RS look, but I decided that we'd lose the gold color that we had before and go for kind of like a flat silver. And we get rid of the fact that they were stepped up and dropping back down to 16 inches. So we bought new dishes and barrels from SSR Hardware. So in the front we have a 3.5 inch lip and a 5-inch barrel, and in the back we have a 4-inch lip and a 5.5 inch barrel. So they're pretty damn wide. For tires we have a 205/40 on the front and a 215/40 on the back, Toyo Proxies, with the same centers, all new hardware, and a freshly powder coated center. So the wheels are by far my favorite part of the car. And I'm so happy that we could actually use the same wheels that we had before, because then it's kind of funny that the wheels that kind of went through the different looks as well. Since then, the only other little bits are E12 BMW chrome handles, which I bought from Classic Autoworks in France. I bought an original radio for the car, which isn't even wired up yet. Still meaning to do that. And I've got this kind of 3D printed cup holders with USB plugs as well, which is also from Classic Autoworks. Of course, it's got the ILB Prehans air freshener, and I've actually got a spray air freshener as well. That is pretty much it. I think there's a couple things left to do. There's a couple cracks in my dashboard, which, to be honest, it doesn't really annoy me, but at the same time, I would love to change the dashboard to kind of finish off the kind of clean look. And as I said, I need to change these cream plastics to black plastics, something I still haven't bothered to do. And obviously get the radio finished and fitted as well. Outside, car actually still has all its original glass, an original fastener seatbelt sticker. All the original glass, still has the registration on every single window, which I think is pretty cool. No plans to change the glass. Obviously we've got the ILB banner on the front window. Oh yeah, we've also got these, the ILB Marbo stickers on the sides. We've got the kind of the pressed metal plates on the front and back. So yeah, that's basically the car as it sits now. As you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous, and to be honest, I absolutely love it. Can't imagine myself getting rid of it. So what's left to do for the car? There's always little bits and bobs that I'd like to do to the car. I would actually love to completely respray the whole thing again, just now because it is kind of almost finished. But no plans to do that just yet, maybe down the line. And also I wouldn't mind down the line now doing an engine swap. The engine's fantastic in it, but I don't know, I feel like that's almost the next stage. If you are going to go to the next stage, you have to do an engine swap. But again, no plans right now. There is a couple little bits, like I want to clean up the exhaust. I want to get my bumpers re-chromed. If anybody knows anywhere to get your bumpers re-chromed in Northern Ireland or close, let me know. And other little bits, those window corners I mentioned, need those. Need to get the radio working, the minute I just use a Bluetooth radio, and the dashboard, and that's pretty much it. There's always going to be little bits and bobs that I can probably do to it, but all in all, absolutely love the car. Don't imagine myself getting rid of it, and I actually think we'll be taking the Polaris Classic this year, and any other shows that kind of pop up, we'll try and get the E28 there. And of course, if we're having any more cars and coffee events, the car will be here. You can come check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much the E28. Any questions, anything you want to know, let me know in the comments. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I don't know if I did. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it was basically me just talking for, I have no idea how long this video is. But if you've enjoyed it, let us know in the comments. It is a new channel, guys, so please subscribe to this channel to help us grow it. Like the video, and as I said, if you want to see more videos like this, or if you have any questions about the E28, let us know in the comments. And if you want to help support us, head on over to our shop. The link is in the description below. You can buy hoodies and stickers and air fresheners over there. We have a bunch of new hoodies coming out very soon. And yeah, guys, we will keep this channel up to date with more behind the scenes content and vlogs and stuff. So thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.